Hi everyone, it's Friday, which means it's time for French Friday. You know how your high school French teacher would never teach you how to cuss in French? I will. It's a fantastic language to curse in. Nom de Dieu, putain, bordel de merde, de saloperie, de connard, enculé ta mère. It's like wiping your ass with silk. I'm not going to teach you all of those, but I will teach you a good handful. I think it's important that you know what people are calling you when they're calling you, and sometimes if you just want to blend in, you know, it's nice to be able to cuss in French. Then when you say pardon my French, you can actually mean it. Since we do want to keep the content of, since I want to keep the content of this vlog, PG-13-ish, I'm not going to say all of the English swears, but I'll use letters, and you'll know which ones I mean. We'll start with the general kind of like angry words, and we'll start nice and simple with zut, which essentially means darn. If you want to get a little bit risky, you can go with zut alors, which means darn then. There's not really an equivalent for damn it, which I think is PG-13, but there is an equivalent for G damn it, which I think is still PG-13 to say G damn it, which is nom de Dieu, which is what I started that whole string off with. Nom de Dieu. It literally means in the name of God. If that's a little bit too risque for you, which it might be, you might as well just go with nom d'une pipe en bois, which means in the name of a wooden pipe. It's a good grandfatherly cussing. Of course, then you have merde, which we went over before, and that is the S word. And you can, of course, use that for any instance where you might want to talk about poop. It is a little bit offensive. You don't necessarily talk like that in front of children. And of course, there's the F-bomb, or the equivalent of it, which is putain, which we could talk about forever because it is the most useful word in the world. But putain, people use putain all the time. And if you want to make it even more accentuated, which is really fun, you say putain merde. You add merde to the end of it. It's great. Putain merde. French is a really whiny language sometimes too, so if you cuss and whine at the same time, you will fit right in. Of course, sometimes you're just flat out irritated, so you can say something like ça m'embête, which means that irritates me. Literally, it means that stupids me. One step up from that would be ça m'en fout, which means, that's irritating me once again, and it's a little more vulgar. And then, of course, to use merde again, because it's used in everything, ça m'emmerde. And if you're French, you'll get why this is wrong, but you could also say ça m'encule. You can't actually say that. I just made that up the other day, and all my French friends are saying it now, so I thought I'd share that with the world. Ça m'encule. Of course, if you want to be extremely childish, you can always go with ta mère, which of course means your mom. Your mom, ta mère. It's kind of actually meaner in French. If you want to tell someone to shut up, the nicer way to say it would be like taisez-vous, which means, it kind of means shut up. But then, of course, the more fun way is ta gueule. Shut up. If they won't shut up and you want to call them a name, you could always call them sausage, saucisse, or you could call them the B word. The male form of B. I don't know if there's a female form of B word, but the male form of B word. Bâtard. You could have figured that one out on your own. Of course, there's a-hole, which is connard. Ah, connard. You can, of course, shorten that to con, which can be used as like, oh, quel con. What a douche. For a long time, I thought connard and canard were the same word. Which is the word for duck. So I thought that French people called each other ducks when they got mad at each other. I was wrong. Very wrong. And if you're in the south of France, it's good to have a couple of southerly phrases. So there's always salope, which means slut. But it's a good way of saying, oh, come on, salope. You can always say payasu, which means, I don't even actually know what that means. I think it means idiot, basically. And then if you want to call someone a name, you can call them tête de goby, which means goby head. And a goby is apparently a fish with really big eyes and looks really ugly. So you can call them fish head. Tête de goby. I hope this was incredibly informative. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you on Monday for whatever the heck it is that we talk about on Monday. Probably how to catch a girl, because we talked about how to catch a guy last Monday, so we'll flip it on its head. In any case, see you Monday.